Today, I'm going to talk about the current state of the market and my investments, as well as how we could prepare for the upcoming event this week. So we had a bit of a market crash yesterday for the division rival rewards, but it was pretty short-lived. I mean, some of the players that crashed, for example, were someone like Puskas, going down to 25, even lower than that. He's working his way back up now. Someone like Hullet, although he's already back up to 38, I think he was down at like 35, maybe 34, dropped quite a bit. And even someone like Maldini, who is or has been taking quite a bit of a hit recently, down to about the 30 to 32 million coin mark. And it just went across the board. A lot of, as you can see here on the graphs on the bottom left of each of these little price screens, a lot of people took hits yesterday. But they are working their way back up. As you can see, there's tons of buying demand for all of these players. And that's what usually happens during the division rival rewards. Almost every player in the game is getting the rewards as well as the competitive points to open packs with. So there's tons of stuff going on. Players are being packed, players are being sold to then get coins to buy better players in the game. And usually when this all settles out over the next week or two, a lot of the high rated meta players like the R9s go up quite a bit in value. But we do have a new event coming out this Wednesday, and I do think it's going to be a main event, which means we could not see the increase in price of these players for some time, because we might have quite a bit of market stir up over the next week or two. I will explain that in a little bit, but the other aspect of the market I want to talk about are the UCL cards. They saw incredible rises, so they saw exactly what I expected. When they got their +1 upgrade, they shot up in value, and then they slowly simmer down as people try out the new ranked up version, see what they like, see what they don't like, and figure out who is worth the upgrade or who's worth holding on to until the next round of games. So we saw, for example, Griezmann up to 15. Now he's back down to 12.5. He's probably going to settle around to 11 to 12, so that's good to see. And that happens for a lot of these ones, but some of them have been capped out at a certain price, and EA do need to update it, and when they do, they'll go even further, but that's only for a handful of these UCL cards. So really quickly, I want to show you some cards that I ended up selling off. I sold off Rudiger way too early. On my free-to-play account, he went up to 8.5 million, and I sold him for that there. We have 88 Saliba. I had like 20 copies that I bought for 1.2, sold this one, not much profit, but I sold the majority of them at the 1.45 million coin mark, meaning I made about 100,000 coins per card, which was great to see. Chouameni was a card that I bought like 3 weeks ago, maybe for 665,000 coins, I think, per card, or maybe it was 620, I can't remember. Now he's up to 1 million. I sold half my copies when he and Real Madrid won 2 weeks ago, and then sold the rest now for 1 million coins each, so that was tons of profit. Sommer was a goalkeeper I invested in for 836,000 coins a piece, I believe. I got 30 copies. I sold them all at the 1.15 million coin mark, roughly. Anywhere between 1.14 to 1.2 was the highest I sold them at. So we have millions of coins of profit here. But that's it for the UCL cards. One quick thing I want to talk about, though, that I did do, that you guys can do before the new event that could get you some more coins, is we know that we have a 90 to 95 overall exchange, which is right over here for rivals. I completed it, but in it, you need a bunch of rivals players. And so their demand went way up, their prices went up. And so what I did is I actually opened up, I think it was like 25,000 gems worth of packs to get rivals players. And what that allowed me to do was, one, complete the exchange, which ended up giving me Casemiro, who I sold for 38.6, easy profits. But not only that, I was able to sell off tons of cards like Fabian Ruiz and a bunch of these guys, all in the 1.3 to, like, as you can see there, 3 million coin mark. Made tons of coins from that, probably 20, 30 million coins. So if you guys haven't done that yet, I would just rip the gems in those packs. And the packs that I was opening up, of course, are these ones over here in the rivals section. These packs here give you rivals players, and then you could get, if you open up 10, the 85 to 95. So that's what I did. If you want to save your gems for later on, do that. But that was another quick way to make coins that I did. And we know that we're able to do that for another 3 days. So might as well do it while you can. The rest of these players here, well, of course, we picked up 3 Maldinis in the market crash. This will take me a while to pay off, because I'm going to explain in a little bit why I think we're going to have another market crash. But these cards are all from rewards. So I've claimed here 30 million coins, easy as you like. So in the past couple of days, I've made 100 million coins, probably maybe 125 million coins pretty easily. Nothing too special, but it's all the same things we've been talking about for the past month or two. So with that being said, the overall market is doing decently well. We had that slight crash yesterday for rewards. A lot of players are working their way back up. The UCL cards are doing fine. The Rivals cards are doing fine. Everything else in general is pretty much the same where it was a few days ago, which is why we don't have to go too in-depth into it. I hope that little sharing of all my coin making helps you guys out for you guys to make some coins leading up to the new event. Because the new event is going to be coming out this Wednesday at Reset, it is the Winter Wildcard event. They already announced it on Twitter. Tomorrow, there's going to be a Twitch stream where they go over everything about the event, so we could know more info then. But what I've realized is the Rivals event is ending on Wednesday. And so my bet is that the new Winter Wildcards event is going to be our new main event. And the reason why that is so important to point out is because the main events so far have caused the biggest market crashes in the game. And when I say it's a big market crash, I mean every card across the board gets hit. And the reason why, and we saw it with the Rivals event, is because with the main events, usually there's a much larger player pool that comes out of it. And sometimes, like we had with Rivals, there are multiple teams that come out as you go throughout the entire event. Now, if the Winter Wildcards event is going to be similar to I think it was called the Winter Festival a year or two ago, there's going to be a lot of ways to earn free players and free rewards, which will mean one of two things. One, there's going to be a lot more coins in the market, so high-rated meta players are going to be very expensive. But two, if there's a lot of free players introduced or a lot of good players introduced, because it is a main event, that is just my guess, by the way, I could be completely wrong, could be a side event, but if it is a main event and there's a lot of main players, that could mean that every current meta card that we have could be at risk. And what I mean by that is, for example, with the Rivals event, we saw incredible center mids like Valverde, we saw players like Modric and a few others in the center mid position that are so good that although Hullet is still one of the best center mids in the entire game, he hasn't exploded in price the way I thought because people are choosing these other new players over him. Not only are they higher rated, but they also have incredible stats. So Hullet is sort of stunted at the 40, maybe low 40 million coin mark, whereas before I thought he was going to go to 50 or 60 until these guys came out. And so that could happen. That was center mids, but that could happen with defenders. I mean, we've seen tons of new defenders come out. We had Hernandez who came out, who for the high-end teams made Roberto Carlos essentially obsolete. We had Neymar come out who made a lot of the other left wings in the game obsolete. Same thing with Salah. So with the new event, we could get let's say an updated striker R9. That's going to make it won't completely crash the price of this version, but it will mean that some of the demand for this card will then shift to his higher rated copy or his better rated copy, meaning that less coins will be pumped into R9. So maybe he doesn't decrease in value, but he doesn't increase as much as we previously thought. And if you're investing in him, that's an important thing to keep in mind. So with all of that being said, we're going to have to see when the event comes out or when it's revealed tomorrow, what kind of players are coming out, how the event is structured, and can any of the event players replace the players that are currently in the meta. And while it is just a waiting game, there are a few things we could do in order to prepare for whatever could be coming in the next few days. So first off, if you have, and I always say this, if you have players in your team that you don't like or you don't necessarily need, and you think their current market value is relatively fair, might as well sell them off just in case they get replaced or the market crashes and their prices go way down. The last thing you want to be doing is holding onto players when a market crashes and then having to sell those players to make moves in the market, but now you're selling all those players for a discounted price. Might as well, if you have players right now, just look through your club, look through your transfer list, see what players you don't need, and if, like I said, if they're a good price, offload them. That way you have tons of coins for the new update so that you could either buy some of the new players or invest in other players to make some coins. The other thing to keep in mind is I would hold off on investing in some of these players. So for example, if you were thinking about, like I did, because I didn't know about the Winter Wildcard, I should have, but if you're thinking about investing in some Maldinis at 30 million coins, I would maybe hold off on it, because when the new event gets announced and the new players come out, even if nobody really replaces Maldini, with all of the new packs and people trying to sell players to buy some of the new players, he will likely go down in price anyways, maybe down to the mid to high 20 million coin mark. So you won't want to buy him now because one, you won't be making profit for quite some time, and 2, now you have all of your coins tied up in a player instead of available to just buy and sell whoever you want. Ideally, we want to have as many coins as possible for the brand new event releases because those are usually the best times to pick up new cards and to pick up old cards that are very cheap because of the crash. The other thing to remember to do is to go into the exchanges and make sure you complete any of these exchanges that could give you players or coins before the event ends in a few days' time. If you haven't got the Maldini yet, make sure you grind out the Maldini. If you haven't got the Zanetti, grind out the Zanetti. We got a few different things going on here, but make sure you take the time to complete these or the ones that you want to before that new event comes out so that you don't have any regrets coming out of it. So, the 3 main things I would focus on is 1, sell off any players that are not of use to you. 2, avoid investing for the next couple days, wait for the new event to come out and for the market to shift up. And 3, do your housekeeping, complete all of the different skill games or whatever to earn all the rewards from this event. Do as much as you can to get out of this event before the new one comes out. Anyways, I hope this video helped. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.